Double stop bends and floating trems. Oh my. Wait a minute. He's got a floating bridge. Floyd Rose type whammy dammy doomy thingy. How the heck's he doing all that in pitch? Yeah, well, there she be. There's the key. We have got a tremolo stabilizer going on, on this Ibanez bridge. And what that does is the stopper there gives it stability. So when you're bending one note, the other note that is supposed to be a constant, fretted or open, stays in pitch. And that tuning stability and ability to play that kind of cool stuff is awesome, but there is something you're losing. Check this out. Yep, you get the idea. The old flutter. That's not going to happen with the old stopper stabilizer. Now, let's do that same thing with the tremolo stabilizer on this bad boy. You just hear it smashing into there. Just knocking on the door. There's no fluttery flexibility there whatsoever. So that's one technique you're not going to be pulling off with one of these stabilizers. So here's that first example with a floating bridge that does not have a stabilizer on it. So I was not exaggerating anything that you might have heard that was out of tune. It was happening in real time. So I'll give the example of that by striking the higher note that's supposed to be stabilized and doing the bend, but I will not strike the bend. Obviously you hear that. Here's the open string. And open string without striking the bend note. And that is the most drastic example that I can give of the trade-off and the issue with a non-stabilized floating tremolo. Now we can compensate in real time doing a lot of our boomer bends and whatnot, Hendrixy stuff. You can make these micro adjustments, but it's going to be happening in there. If you really wanted to play this, you'd have to bend the pinky note sharp as well while you're bending the other to get it in pitch about there. And that's just bonkers. I mean, there are actual bends like that. But, those are actual techniques that you're used to bending both the strings at the same time. When you try and do that adjustment without it, forget it. So just be aware, if it's your first floating trem guitar and you're trying to do things that you're used to, and you're just like, what's wrong with me? It's not you. Okay? Oh, so you're still here. Okay, what is a double stop bend? Well, in general, it's fretting a note while bending another. Two or more things happening at the same time, or bending both. most common ones, the Hendrixy thing you might be familiar with. Let's stay in E here. The theory behind what's happening there is you're bending up to the third, and then you got the fifth right there. So you see that part of the chord. The other common ones are the one string up, and that would be a third and a root on C. There's the first example, but adding another string to it on the high E, like I played in the intro example, and that's bending up to a third, fifth, and root on the pinky of G. So third, 5, 1. Another little funky one I played in the beginning there was bending up to the third while holding the root on C. That kind of flips your brain around backwards, that one, and not an entirely common one. Showstopper, which I think I got from the Surfing with the Alien album riffs, is the major third and 1. So in A it would be. And then some fun ones that you can play with one finger is the good old A rocker. So here's an example on a Strat style guitar with a trem that's a little more standard. Does have movement in two directions, but it's not particularly meant to go back the other way. It's a bit more blocked. So here, when I hold this note and do the bend, much more stable. So that would be the happy medium. A guitar like this, a tremolo like this, where you can get some back action and do most everything, not the flutter, and have the stability. So a little tech info on the bridge systems. The Ibanez S played in the intro sequence was a EZ tremolo with the stabilizer. And I believe that maybe the new Pia Steve Vai models come with that as well. You'll have to check into that, which ones have stabilizers or not. And you can always add them to your floating systems. And the other guitar without that I gave the examples was a Edge bridge, and that was on the this RGT 1270 Poplar Burl, and that did not have stabilization. So I sincerely hope that helps you have a little better understanding of floating bridge systems and what they can and can't do, and why you were having maybe a pitch problem with your bends when you were used to something different, and the options that exist now to customize or add a stabilizer to a standard floating system. Okay, so maybe there's something out there that I don't know about that you can add to the conversation so we can all have our toys and have the best of all worlds as much as we can. So please share that with all of us in comments, and I hope this has been helpful to you.